Most of us talk about sleep as if there is one right number, 8 hours. Less if you are busy, more if you are tired. But across a human life, the number keeps moving. A newborn may need most of the day asleep. An older adult may feel awake after much less. The useful question is not what number should everyone hit. It is, what job is sleep doing at this age? That one shift changes the whole story. Sleep is not just lost time. It is part of development, timing, memory, emotional regulation, recovery, and aging. As those needs change, the architecture of sleep changes too. How long we sleep, when we feel sleepy, how much REM sleep appears, how much deep sleep remains, and how easily the night breaks apart. This is why age charts can be useful, but also easy to misread. They are not moral scorecards. They are ranges. For most people, newborns sit around 14 to 17 hours. Toddlers around 11 to 14, school-age children around 9 to 11, teenagers around 8 to 10, adults around 7 to 9, and older adults around 7 to 8. The edges matter too. Some sleep outside the recommended range may still be appropriate for a person depending on health, development, stress, recovery, and daily life. But when sleep is persistently far below or far above these ranges, that is when the pattern becomes more worth paying attention to. So let us follow sleep through the life course, not as a list of ages, but as a changing set of jobs. At each stage, the brain and body are asking sleep to do something slightly different. The story starts before a baby has anything like a normal day and night. In the final weeks before birth, the fetus spends much of its time in sleep-like states. REM-like sleep can take up nearly 9 hours a day near the end of pregnancy. That early sleep is not just rest. It appears to help the developing brain build and organize neural connections. In simple terms, sleep is already part of construction before the outside world has fully arrived. After birth, sleep is still not one neat block. Newborn sleep is polyphasic, which means it arrives in many short pieces across day and night. The body clock is immature, and many newborns do not show a clear daily rhythm until around 3 to 4 months. That can feel confusing from the outside, but biologically it makes sense. The newborn brain is not refusing a schedule. It is still building the timing system that a schedule depends on. Research on premature infants makes this timing idea more concrete. Studies have found that controlled light and darkness, such as covering cribs during night hours, can support growth and development and may reduce hospital stays. Light is not just visibility. It is a signal. In the first months, REM sleep takes up a larger share of sleep than it does in adults. But more REM does not mean a baby is dreaming like an adult. Children under 6 often do not report dream experiences, probably because the cortical systems that support that kind of dream reporting are still developing. Even nutrition can shape this early architecture. Iron deficiency anemia in infancy has been linked with lasting changes in REM and non-REM patterns. That reminds us that sleep is not isolated from the rest of development, it is woven into it. As childhood unfolds, sleep begins to consolidate. Instead of many scattered sleeps, the night becomes the main sleep period. The total amount also falls dramatically from the long sleep needs of infancy toward roughly half that amount before adolescence. But children do not all move through this at the same speed. Research shows wide individual variation, especially in young infants, where sleep duration can differ by many hours and still sit within a broad developmental range. One of the most interesting changes is the fading role of naps. In preschool children, less napping has been linked with stronger vocabulary and memory during wake time. That does not mean naps are bad. It suggests that dropping naps can be one sign that the brain is maturing. Studies of the hippocampus, a brain area important for memory, also suggest differences between habitual nappers and non-habitual nappers in early childhood. The careful interpretation is that sleep patterns may reflect how memory systems are developing, not simply how tired a child is. Deep sleep also remains especially strong through childhood. This slow-wave sleep is part of the brain's heavy maintenance work. It supports learning, recovery, and the kind of neural organization that childhood quietly depends on. But biology is only part of the story. Children's sleep is also shaped by environment. Studies link lower socioeconomic neighborhood conditions with poorer sleep health, including shorter nights. So, when a child sleeps less, the question is not only what is happening in the body, it is also what is happening around the child. Before we move into the teenage clock shift, there is a bigger backdrop. Data from more than 750,000 school children suggests young people now sleep about 2 hours less per night than school children a century ago. That is social context, not a reason to blame children, families, or one generation. Then adolescence changes the rhythm again. The teenage brain is often treated as if it simply refuses bedtime. But one major change is biological. The internal clock shifts later. Many teenagers naturally become more alert at night and sleepier in the morning. That delay can be around 1 to 3 hours. So the teenager who cannot sleep early may not just be making a choice. Their body timing may be asking for sleep later than the school day allows. At the same time, total sleep duration often drops through the later teen years, by roughly 1.5 to 3 hours between ages 15 and 18. That is a lot of sleep to lose during a period when the brain is still under construction. This matters because adolescent sleep is not empty downtime. REM sleep helps with emotional calibration, which is useful during a life stage full of social learning. Deep non-REM sleep helps prune and refine neural connections. So the teen sleep problem is not only tiredness. It is a timing mismatch between biology, social life, school demands, and development. The body clock moves later at exactly the age when mornings can become less forgiving. There are also differences within adolescence. Studies show chronotype usually shifts toward evening preference and then moves earlier again after maturation. Female sleep patterns can shift after puberty, and hormonal changes may alter sleep timing and REM patterns. These are patterns, not boxes every person must fit. Even athletes show a more complicated picture. Some adolescent athletes fall asleep and wake earlier than non-athletic peers. But research also finds poor sleep efficiency in some young athletes, meaning more time awake after sleep has started. A healthy identity does not automatically guarantee healthy sleep. By adulthood, the familiar recommendation is usually 7 to 9 hours. But the adult story is less about one perfect number and more about stability, timing, and individual need. The circadian system is now more coordinated. A small brain region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, helps time the body through nerve signals and hormones such as melatonin and glucocorticoids. It is like a master timing signal sent to many tissues. This is why sleep is connected to more than the feeling of being tired. Timing signals help organize the body. They tell organs when to expect activity, rest, light, food, and recovery. Adult sleep needs also vary. Some people function well on less than the recommended range, and others need more. Research points to genetic differences, including clock gene variations, that can affect activity rhythms. That does not make every short night harmless. It means a single number cannot explain every person. The more useful question is whether sleep supports daytime functioning, mood recovery, and long-term health, not whether a person can survive a few short nights. Hormones continue to shape sleep in adulthood. Progesterone can influence sleep architecture, including reductions in REM sleep at higher levels. Research also suggests women may show stronger inflammatory responses after sleep disturbance, which may help explain why sleep debt can feel heavier for some. Lifestyle can still make a difference. Moderate exercise programs have been shown to improve sleep quality and autonomic nervous system balance in previously sedentary adults. This is not a magic fix. It is one example of how daytime physiology can feed into nighttime recovery. In the 30s and 40s, many people also begin drifting earlier again. Falling asleep earlier and waking closer to dawn can become easier than it was in youth. The sleep system keeps changing even when adult life feels like the stable part of the story. Older age brings one of the most misunderstood sleep changes. Older adults may need a similar total amount of sleep to younger adults, often around 7 to 8 hours. But the architecture is different. Compared with teenagers, older adults can lose 80 to 90% of deep sleep. Slow-wave sleep falls. REM sleep may decrease. The night becomes more fragmented with more awakenings. Melatonin also declines with age. By around 70, levels may be only a small fraction of prepubertal levels. The signal that helps consolidate the night can become quieter. The body clock often shifts earlier too. Older adults may wake at an earlier internal phase, meet morning light earlier, and then reinforce that earlier rhythm. At the same time, research suggests the aging circadian system may need stronger light exposure to shift. There is another careful clue from aging research. In fruit fly studies, young flies compensated for sleep disruption by sleeping longer later. Older flies did not show the same recovery response. That suggests aging brains may become less able to track sleep debt and organize payback sleep. This does not mean older sleep is simply broken. Older adults can show resilience to some effects of sleep loss. But it does mean duration alone becomes a poorer guide. Quality, fragmentation, light, noise, medications, health conditions, and daytime functioning become more important. Some older adults wake after 5 hours and feel refreshed. That experience may be real. It is also worth holding gently beside the evidence that persistently short or disrupted sleep can still carry health meaning. Feeling okay and being fully restored are not always the same measurement. So the sleep chart is not a command. It is a map of changing needs. Early life asks sleep to help build the brain. Childhood asks it to support learning and growth. Adolescence asks it to protect emotion and refinement while the clock shifts. Adulthood asks for stable timing and recovery. Older age asks us to pay closer attention to quality. The main lesson is that sleep requirements change because the work of being alive changes. The number on the chart matters, but the deeper story is the job behind the number. If you want to explore the full article and the supporting references, you can find them in the description. For BeSund, this is the useful middle ground, not panic about every unusual night and not dismiss patterns that keep repeating. Just a clearer way to understand why sleep keeps changing with us.